So guys, welcome to this video. In this video, we're gonna be talking about the number one skill that 6 and 7 figure agency owners must have. Now, this skill applies if you're an agency owner or pretty much any other business owner out there. And it's what I like to call eagle eye. I'm actually wearing my eagle shirt today. Now, the eagle's always been kind of like close to my heart. Where I'm from in Russia, a place called Dagestan, like the eagle is kind of like a regional animal, regional symbol. I also have a gold, I don't know if you guys have ever noticed in my videos, in London I have a gold eagle statue. That's why. So it's always been kind of like close to my heart. And it's actually, I'll try and remember to leave the link down below, but in my article with Influensive, when they sat down with me to interview me for their publication, I actually called it Hawkeye. I meant to call it Eagle Eye, but yeah, I called it Hawkeye by accident. But you know, I named that as the number one skill that every single agency owner needs to possess in order to scale. Now, what Eagle Eye is as an eagle would, having a bird's eye view over your agency and over the operations of your agency. I talk about operations a lot, and I think, you know, I feel as though like operations is one of those words where like no one exactly knows what it means. Operations is literally just about like, how do you onboard? You know, making sure you have such a good, sleek system for onboarding. Now, obviously, if you're a customer of my agency course, then like, you know, you would have already had the plug and play that I even use to this day with my agency clients. You know, so taking a look at something like that, or looking at like reporting, and what operations is like, how do you do every one of those things? And just finding a way to systemize it as much as possible. So number one, your clients are happy. Number two, it kind of like builds barriers around what could go wrong. You know, by you building these systems, then you don't have to constantly think about it all the time. And that really allows you to productize your agency. By that, I mean, when someone comes in as a client, most people get so stressed, like, oh, I have to do this. When I sign a client, and when anyone who's a part of my courses signs a client, because, you know, I teach them the exact same thing, they're not stressed out because they know exactly what to do. They have a streamlined process and operations in place for every single part of their business. So as an eagle would, you gotta look down over your operations and go, okay, service delivery. What happens when a client comes on board? How do we actually deliver the service for them? Am I doing it myself? Preferably not. Do you have a team member in place? If you don't have a team member in place, do you have a system to reliably get new high quality contractors in place? Even if one leaves, that you can replace them easily. Now, if you do have one in place, what's the exact step-by-step checklist? You know, what's the process that you guys go through? What's the process on the onboarding call? As an agency owner, you need to have an eagle eye view over all of this stuff. Now, this is really important, I'd say, as you're scaling from, you know, 10 to 20, 30, 40, 50, 100K a month. This is when this really comes into play. As I said, the key is always to focus on sales and operations, because those are really the only two things that you can do. Service delivery, I constantly preach, get a contractor to do the service delivery for you, because anyone in the world can do that. That doesn't have to be you, but not anyone in the world can do the sales, because at the end of the day, especially when you're an agency owner doing less than like 100, 200, 300K a year in revenue, unless you have like an office and 20 employees, etc., like people are expecting to talk to the owner. You know, people are expecting to talk to the owner of the agency, so you can't have someone else do that for you, really. And the same thing with the operations. You're the one that has to set all the systems in place. So that's really the main leverage point. That's why I always tell you guys, try to get someone to do the service delivery for you. It's important you actually understand how to do the service delivery, but try to get someone to actually physically do the service delivery for you, so you can focus on the most important things in your business. Now, when it comes to having an eagle eye, you need to have an eagle eye over lead flow, aka how many leads are coming into your business. That's number one. Number two is the sales process. Number three is client results. Number four, you know, how the team is actually operating, how it's communicating, how your team and your clients are communicating. Then things like cash flow, expenses. You constantly have to look at your expenses. You know, the beautiful thing with an agency is expenses are so low. You should still constantly be looking over your expenses, you know, your softwares, your contractors, and seeing like, okay, could I get the same contractor for cheaper, higher quality? You know, really the most important thing is, rather than being a pianist, you know, and just focus on doing the actual task, you need to be an orchestrator. You know, what an orchestrator does is they lead the entire orchestra, the entire team. And you need to be doing the same thing. You need to be looking at yourself as an agency owner, rather than being like the pianist who's just doing the task and going full steam ahead. You need to look at yourself like the orchestrator. You need to take a step back, look over your current agency, and identify, where are you weakest right now? Is it service delivery? Are you most of the time losing clients? You know, as I said, If you are a Grow Your Agency customer, if you're one of the customers of my agency program, then by now you already know to do 3-month minimums always. But after that 3-month, what's your churn rate like? You know, are you losing clients most of the time after that 3-month? If that's the case, then you need to have an eagle eye over everything and go, okay, let's put all this stuff aside for now and let's focus on the service delivery. Or is your cash flow kind of fucked up? You know, do you have to look at your cash flow and go, rather than invoicing all of my clients all at once and claiming, let's say 20K at the beginning of the month, when I have all these expenses throughout the month, maybe I should spread it out to bi-weekly, or maybe I should invoice clients at different times of the month. So this is all really things that you need to think about. And as I said, the most important thing as an agency owner is having that eagle eye over everything, is being the orchestrator, is looking at all these facets of your agency and working on making them better. You know, I say this all the time. I think people love when I say it, but I always say work on your business, not in it. Now, what that means is working on your business is doing something that right now brings you no ROI, but in the future brings you immense ROI compared to working in your business. Say something like service delivery. Service delivery doesn't bring you any income. Or, you know, say you just sold the service and now you're doing the service delivery. That's you working in the business. You know, you've just sold it, now you have to deliver it. I see so many people stuck in that circle. Whereas if you just spend some time finding high quality team members, you're working on the business, working on the business operations, then you can bring on even more client load and have someone managing that for you for a small fee or percentage of the retainer. So constantly think, am I working on the business? AKA, am I growing the business? Am I thinking long-term with my agency, or am I working in the business right now? And each day you wanna start your day by focusing on activities. I call them IPAs, income producing activities. And it's funny, ever since I mentioned that one of my programs, everyone started saying IPAs, but you constantly wanna focus on these IPAs, these income producing activities, where the first chunk of your day should always be working on the business, AKA you doing things that take the business forward long term. For example, sales, cleaning up client onboarding, cleaning up client reporting, cleaning up client communication, making those systems better, hiring and training great talent, whether that be, if you're doing Facebook ads for someone, finding a high quality Facebook ad contractor, and then not only finding one, finding a second backup and a third backup in case one leaves, two leaves, then you have a third one that you can rely on. Same thing with if you need a contractor or a graphic designer. If you have a graphic designer that right now is charging you 50 pounds per hour, don't settle for that. Constantly be trying to find a new graphic designer that's cheaper, that can do the same quality of work, because that increases your bottom line. So guys, as I said, 2 main takeaways from this video: constantly have this eagle eye and have this look over your business. And rather than being reactive to the business, AKA, you know, I'm gonna go do this, I'm gonna go do this, just sign a new client, need to go deliver on the services, or I'm gonna go be ADHD about this thing. Have a long-term view, have an eagle eye perspective over the business, where it's going, where the faults are, and every single day be working on the business. By that, building a system, making a system better, repairing a system, and a different department of your agency. So guys, I hope you enjoyed that video, and I'll see you in the next one.